Hi, Melanie Muenchinger here, illustrator for Gina K.Designs. Today I have a project for you with my newest set from Gina K.Designs, Stately Flowers 9. This is the latest in the Stately Flowers series. It's got some beautiful flowers in it, large and small greetings, and a couple new things that I haven't had in the other Stately Flowers sets to date. One is this little creamer pitcher. This is going to be a beautiful container for all of your different flowers in the line or your other stamp images, and they don't have to be flowers even. It's really fun to find maybe stamp images that you have pencils or really anything that you could put into that picture. So it's really fun getting creative. Also, we have this little script stamp in here. It's an old poem about flowers. It's big enough to read, but also small enough that it can just blend right in when you're trying to create backgrounds or make a vintage look. We're going to be using the apple blossom today. I have two different sizes for when you want to look like a little blossom has maybe fallen out of that vase, or when you want to combine the two sizes to make backgrounds. Instead of doing it pink, and I will be showing you how to color this pink in a later video, I just decided to go ahead and do it blue, and I love the way this turned out. In today's video, we're going to be doing the reverse masking technique on this picture. The tools that you will need for this particular project are obviously the Stately Flowers 9 stamp set. And just to let you know, this little picture is about 2 inches tall, and it's approximately the size as the containers in my Buds and Vases set. So just to give you an idea. We're also going to be using some ink from Gina K.Designs, the Moonlit Fog and the Powder Blue. We're going to use some white and some powder blue cardstock. And I am also using the Cuttlebug embossing folder. This is the Fleur de Lis. And I recommend that you try using these with both the embossed or debossed side just to see how that changes the look of your cards. Going to be using several different Spectrum Noir markers today, but any alcohol markers will do. I've got the TB1, TB2, TB3, and TB4 for those petals, the CT2 for the center of that flower, the CG2 and the CG4 for the leaves, and finally the GG2 for doing some shadows. Have some scissors for cutting out the flowers, and also some scratch paper for creating the mask, some adhesive and some foam for adding that layer and popping up the flowers, and then just a large block. So every image that we're using today will fit on this particular one. All right, so let's go ahead and begin by stamping the picture. I'm going to do this in the Moonlit Fog ink, so we're doing this in gray today, and it's just a softer look. And I'm going to stamp this to the left side of my mat, and I'll provide measurements for this below. And I'm also going to stamp this onto some scratch paper so you can see a faint outline here. We're going to cut that out, and what I did here already is I cut out just the middle portion of this picture. That is going to allow me to lay this right over it, and I'm going to add some detail so that after we put on the small apple blossom, it's going to look like we've got a really delicate piece of patterned china. Now you might choose to have it go over the handle, so you might want to create more than one mask for this. I'm just going to put that right on like that and pull it away. Okay, now let's go ahead and do a little bit of shading on it. I'm going to use the TB1, and I'm just going to go around the edges so we can look like this little picture is curved, and put some at the bottom, around the bottom there. And I'll do just a little bit here on the handle. And you might choose to, instead of fussy cutting the flowers out, you could just cover up this picture and then stamp the flowers right over that, and it'll look like they're inside. Okay, but I'm going to pop these up because I want to have some more dimension today. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and stamp these flowers on another sheet of Pure Luxury White, and this is the layering weight white. And I recommend, if you're doing any fussy cutting, make sure you're using the layering weight white, because you have to work a lot harder to do the cutting if you're using the heavy weight. and it's easy to bend the edges when you're going around. It's not as flexible. All right, so let's go ahead and begin by coloring in these leaves with my lightest green, the CG2. Okay. And I'm going to be cutting off this woody stem today because I want the flowers to look like they're hanging out. So we're not going to be using the entire image, just the two flowers and then the section of leaves. So I'm just filling this in quickly. And then I'll add the darker green. Okay. So I'm going to put just a little bit on the underside there. And then I'm going to do a little bit of tip-to-tip coloring to make that blend more. And I wanted this to pop a lot, so I picked greens that were very different from each other. So it's a little bit more of a contrast than I sometimes have. And then let's do some tip-to-tip coloring. So I hold the lighter marker in my dominant hand, my right hand, and then I will lift some ink off of that darker marker and then just blend this in between areas. Okay. Now, go ahead and fill in the center of that flower, the yellow. And then I'm going to take that TB1, lightest blue, and I'm just going to quickly swirl that in, going in circles, and that'll all blend together. And because the color on petals usually fades out to the edges, I don't even worry about going all the way up to the edge. I can leave that white for my highlight. And I forgot the yellow on the center of this one. Okay, now let's go and put on some details with the darker blues. This is the TB2. And not much different here. It's just a little bit deeper, a little more periwinkle and gray. So I'm just swirling that into the middle. And I just like the different tones that these different markers provide. But you don't have to use as many. You can go for one light, one dark, and then do that tip-to-tip coloring that I showed you on the leaves. Okay, and then I'm just going to trace a few of these little veins near the inside. And obviously I'm just making this up. The apple blossoms aren't blue, so if you want to make these flowers where it's darker on the outside and lighter on the inside, you could do that. And then I'm just going to add a little bit to those little crinkles and folds. And then just a touch of this. This has a little more purple in it. And then I might just go back with that TB1 over all of it. And those will all just blend right together. Okay. All right, now I'm going to cut this out. And I like to turn the cardstock more than I turn my scissors. People have commented a lot that I'm pretty fast at cutting, and I don't know if that's just from practice or because I'm not as worried about it being perfect. I'll cut out. I'm going to do the general outline first, and then you can go back in and snip out those smaller pieces last. It's just easier to get off this big piece, and then you can maneuver the paper a little bit better. Okay, and I'll just take out just these last little bits here. And for my greeting, I think instead of the I love you dearly, which I added for Valentine's, I'm going to do a best wishes one. Almost done. And then I have that smaller flower that I already cut out and colored just to save a little bit of time, but you're going to color it exactly the same as you would the larger flower. It's a mirror image and smaller, so they look like different blooms. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to put my greeting on right next to that picture. So I love these mixed fonts. You'll see these throughout the Stately Flowers line, and it just nests right in there next to the picture. And then I'm just going to put this with the foam squares over that, and you can choose how you want to arrange that in your vase, whether you want them standing up a little more, hanging down a little bit more. Take off that backing. I think I'm going to do it just about like that. Okay, so it's going off of my mat. That's really pretty. And then I'm going to add this little flower here at the bottom. Like that. And I'm going to take this gray marker I used for the shadow, so you can see that it's casting a larger shadow than just the bottom of the picture. So you can add this last. Doesn't have to be exact because it really just depends on where the light's coming from. And then put on our other flower. And then we would just mount that with the foam on top of the blue, and then put that onto our heavy base weight top fold card. I'm so excited about some of the different techniques I have planned for this set. It is releasing this Thursday at Gina K.Designs. I hope you can join us for our release party. You'll see more samples from me and from the team. Thanks for watching this video today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please visit my blog, Hands, Head, and Heart, for more inspiration, or sign up for my YouTube channel so you never miss any videos. Thank you.